I really enjoy visiting historic sites right across Fraser Coast because they give us a really good insight into the past and what has happened here and things we can learn. I'm here on Gari, Fraser Island, in the midst of a very, very historic site, which was actually once a scene of heavy industry and people were living all around where I am right now. This was the site of a timber mill and a small settlement that went along with it. I reached it along the quiet stretch of beach known as North White Cliffs here on Gari, and heading down from Kingfisher. It takes about 20 minutes walking south from Kingfisher Bay Resort. You come along to an historic jetty, which was once connected to the tramway, which went right through where I am now to the island's only sawmill. Whilst peaceful now, this area was once a hive of activity. Just behind the jetty, within the forest here, a community of loggers and their families lived here between 1919 and 1925. The famous explorer Andrew Petrie identified Gari's plentiful timber resources in 1842, but it wasn't until 1863 that the first logs were being cut and delivered by raft to Maryborough. Logging was a major industry here when a century ago, in 1918, Hepburn McKenzie purchased the timber rights to 4,000 acres of land here at North White Cliffs. His company then immediately set about constructing a sawmill, the jetty here, which is so scenic here, especially at sunset, timber tramways through where I am right now, and a village all around me. Some of the first trees to be felled as part of the operation were Satinae, Syncarpia hillii, to provide the piles for this jetty. The jetty was connected to the mill by a tram line, which also extended eastward into the heart of the island to take in the highly productive timber country and a camp. North White Cliffs then became a busy timber community with around 30 cottages, a school, and a village store. To the careful observer, the remnants of this North White Cliffs village and timber mill are here. They can be found as well through the artifacts, but also in terms of the way the hills have been terraced for the school and for other buildings. The home sites were cut into the hill, and the simple two-room timber dwellings were built in rows, all on stumps with corrugated iron roofs. The houses have been dismantled, but the stumps and bench cuts can still be found. McKenzie's mill was closed in 1925, but the Queensland Forest Service purchased the tramway and jetty, which continued to be used until the mid-1930s. Walking amongst the piles on the beach, you can see Roman numerals neatly carved into the timber, and these indicate the jetty's length in feet going outwards into the water. Nearby, a large rusting boiler and tractor, substantially submerged into the sand, give further insight into the industry that once made its presence so firmly felt here. It would have been a loud, chaotic, and bustling sight. Now, the only sounds here are birds, insects, which can be quite noisy actually, and on a windier day, the wind rustling through the trees around me here. During the 1980s, there was significant debate right across Queensland in relation to logging here on this wonderful island. In 1990, a commission of inquiry chaired by Tony Fitzgerald was established to provide recommendations on the future use, conservation, and management of Gari. As a result of Fitzgerald's recommendations, logging ceased here in 1991. Since that time, the island has been managed to preserve its wonderful natural resources. So many people visit here and form incredible lasting memories, and it's really, really important that we have wild places that we can visit. And there's no better place, I think, to spend time than Gari here on the Fraser Coast. Gari, it's the largest sand island in the world, but so much more than that. The Butchulla culture that is still so alive here, the natural wonder, the beauty, and just the opportunity to step back and immerse yourself in the wilderness, I think is something that we should all take time to step back and appreciate.